Hey guys, today I'm going to break down a highly requested movie, an Indonesian horror film called Pengantin Setan, which roughly translates to The Devil's Bride. The movie is pretty fascinating, and the craziest part, it's actually based on a true story. This real-life incident was even featured on a popular podcast channel. So, at the beginning of the story, a woman named Aika is telling us about a dream she had through a voiceover. And we actually get to see that dream play out. In it, Aika finds herself in a completely different world. She feels really good in this strange place. Then, when she enters a house she meets a very handsome man. He starts appearing in her dreams every night, and each time, they become intimate. Aika actually enjoys it. She feels comforted and connected. But tonight, as the man begins getting intimate with her in the dream, we see something unsettling happen in the real world. Her shirt buttons begin to slowly unfasten on their own. This makes it clear that some kind of supernatural entity is behind all of this. And then, shockingly, we see a demonic figure actually getting intimate with her in the real world, something Aika is completely unaware of. It all just vivid dreams. Anyway, around 4 o'clock in the morning, Aika wakes up to the sound of the doorbell. She's still smiling, clearly happy from the dream she just had. Because to her, it felt completely real. Anyway, for now, Aika heads downstairs and opens the door. It's her husband, Ariel. He works as a security guard and came home late because of overtime. But lately, coming home late has become a regular thing for him, and because of that, things between Aika and Ariel haven't been going well. Aika tells her husband to hang up his jacket properly, and he does. Just then, the demon knocks the jacket down, which really pisses Aika off. This clearly shows that the demon wants to create tension and keep things messed up between the two of them. Anyway, just like every other day, Aika and Ariel get into a bunch of arguments. Frustrated, Ariel storms off to bed without even eating, which really upsets Aika. The next morning, when Ariel comes downstairs to eat, Aika gets up and walks away while scrolling through her phone. Ariel doesn't say anything either. By now, they've argued so much that there's nothing left to say. Next, we see Aika at work, but she's clearly not in a good mood. She's distracted and unable to focus on her tasks when suddenly a woman named Linda shows up. Linda works at the same place and is also a close friend of Aika's. Seeing Aika in a bad mood, Linda figures that she must have had another argument with her husband last night. On the other hand, Ariel is also feeling pretty down because of what happened between them. Later, while eating, we see Aika talking with Linda. Through their conversation, we learn that Aika has been married for 3 years. Back when they were dating, things were really good. Ariel used to do a lot for her and genuinely made her happy. From Aika's point of view, Ariel wasn't romantic anymore. He didn't bring her gifts. He didn't plan any surprises like he used to. That's when Linda tries to talk some sense into her. She tells Aika this is what life looks like after marriage. A lot of things change. There are responsibilities, but it also depends on us, on how we choose to handle things and understand our partner. Then Linda turns the tables and points out that Aika doesn't put in the same effort either. She doesn't do her makeup anymore when she sees Ariel, and she doesn't talk to him the way she used to. So yeah, even she had gone through some changes, and honestly, may everyone have a friend like that, whether you're a guy or a girl. It's rare to find people who actually try to save your relationship. Anyway, by now, the intimacy between Aika and Ariel was completely gone, even though they'd only been married for 3 years. In fact, Aika couldn't even remember the last time she spent any real quality time with him. That's when Linda suggests she dress up nicely tonight and try to reconnect with Ariel, maybe even get intimate. Aika agrees, because deep down, she knows Linda isn't wrong. Meanwhile, Ariel's senior at work gives him some advice. He tells him that no matter how busy he is, he should still make time for his wife, Aika, even if it's just a little. To do that, he'll need to start going home on time. Ariel agrees, and to be fair, he's been doing all that for their future to make things more secure. So, even though Ariel came home late again because of overtime, Aika treats him really well this time. She takes off his jacket herself and hangs it up, and she even had tea ready for him before he arrived. Ariel really appreciates all of it. It makes him feel valued. Things start to feel better between them, and the two begin to get intimate. But as they start getting intimate, the lights in the house begin to flicker. And then, we see the demon again, right there with Ariel and Aika, still being intimate with her. It's clear he hasn't let go of Aika just yet. That night, when Aika falls asleep, she finds herself back at the same building in that other realm. The demon, once again appearing as the handsome man, approaches her and gently places a flower on her body. He then tells her that she'll never be able to leave this place again. Aika is terrified, and when she tries to open the building's door, this time it won't budge. Then, the man from her dreams tries to come closer to her, but before anything happens, Aika wakes up in fear. But the strangest part, if it was really just a dream, Then how was the exact same flower the demon gave her in the dream now lying beside her bed? Seeing that left Aika completely shocked. Later on, when Aika comes downstairs, she's pleasantly surprised to see that Ariel has cooked dinner for her. It really touches her. The two of them sit down, talk warmly, and reminisce about the old days. During the conversation, Ariel apologizes and promises to make things right, that whatever's been going on lately, he's going to fix it. He tells her they'll start fresh, just like they did in the beginning. Aika agrees, hopeful for a new start. Today, Aika was going to be a little late getting home because after finishing work she planned to visit her younger sister, Emma. Earlier that day, Ariel actually offered to drop her off at work on his scooter, and seeing them together like that made Linda really happy. Aika, too, seemed more focused and in a good mood at work. But while she was working, she suddenly spotted a flower inside a box, the exact same kind the man from her dreams used to give her. Seeing this, Aika is completely shocked. She's just about to pick up the flower when someone else grabs it first. And now, standing right in front of her, is the same man from her dreams walking toward her. But then, she catches his reflection in a small nearby mirror, and what she sees leaves her frozen with fear, because in the reflection, it's not a man at all. It's a demon. Suddenly, Aika feels nauseous and rushes to the bathroom to throw up. As viewers, we can see the demon standing right behind her while this is happening. Seeing Aika run off like that, Linda follows her into the bathroom. She tries to ask what's going on, but Aika doesn't say a word and just walks away. Obviously, even she doesn't fully understand what's happening to her, and even if she did, how would she even begin to explain it to anyone, ****. Anyway, after Aika leaves the bathroom, Linda looks into the sink and she's completely freaked out. Aika had vomited blood and there were worms in it. Later that night, Aika meets up with her younger sister, Emma, at a roadside restaurant. Through their conversation, we learn that Emma recently broke up with her boyfriend, Deister, because he was always so busy with work that he never made time for her. That's exactly what leads to a big argument between them. At that point, Aika throws the same line at Emma that Linda once used on her, saying that ups and downs are totally normal in a relationship, and that Emma should give Deister another chance. After all, Deister had been with Emma for the past 2 years, and they really did like each other. Basically, both sisters were feeling seriously emotionally neglected. But the thing is, Aika never took a hard look at herself. Anyway, Aika shares something really meaningful with Emma. She says that as people get older, there comes a time when couples can't really do much physically anymore. All they have left is conversation. And in moments like that, having the right partner, someone you can share everything with, makes all the difference. That way, you go through life without any regrets. Basically, she was just saying that the two of them should try to stay happy together and that arguments like this are normal in relationships. Emma understood that, but then she tells her sister that she had recently gone to visit their parents and they mentioned how eager they were to see their grandchild soon. Obviously, that comment was aimed at Aika. As soon as it comes up, Aika starts to look a little sad because she's been trying to have a baby too but keeps facing one complication after another. Because of all this stress, Aika had also been on medication and honestly, both of them were pretty overwhelmed by everything going on. Anyway, Aika texts Ariel to remind him to pick up her meds. Later, while Ariel is at work, he suddenly sees Aika standing right in front of him. But how could that be? She was supposed to be with Emma. The truth is, it wasn't really Aika. It was something else. Maybe the demon was trying to show him something. Ariel is completely shocked by what he sees. As he follows after her, Aika is nowhere to be seen, but suddenly Ariel hears her screaming loudly. He rushes toward the sound, only to find Aika standing in a strange, eerie way inside the building where he works. She looks like she's pregnant, and then she suddenly goes into labor. Ariel is completely terrified by what he's seeing. Moments later, something horrifying happens. A baby starts to emerge from her womb, but it's not a normal child, it's a demonic baby. Ariel gets really freaked out by what he sees. But Aika is just standing there with a creepy smile on her face. The child starts crawling toward Ariel, trying to get closer, but right then, Ariel's supervisor shows up and everything suddenly goes back to normal. Still feeling off, Ariel decides to go home. He's clearly shaken by what happened and barely talks to Aika. Instead, he quietly gives her some medicine and tells her that he's called a woman named Mobak Sari to come by tomorrow and give her a body massage. After that, he just heads to bed without saying much else. All of this felt really strange to Aika, but she stayed quiet and eventually went to sleep. The next morning, while Lombok Sari is giving Aika a massage, she tells her to try and relax more, her body clearly needs rest. But while massaging her stomach, Mbok Sari suddenly says that Aika is 3 months pregnant. Aika is thrilled to hear this, but Ariel is completely shocked. Why? Because they had only been intimate 2 days ago, or before that, not for 6 whole months. So how could she possibly be 3 months? So what exactly happened to Aika? Well, for now, Ariel doesn't say anything to her about it. He just drops her off at work like usual and heads back home. Later, when Aika shares the news with her co-workers, everyone's excited. She had been trying for this for a long time. But Linda, after hearing it, remembers Aika's recent vomiting episode and starts feeling really worried. But when Linda tries to talk to Aika about it, Aika gets the feeling that Linda isn't happy about her pregnancy. So she avoids the conversation and walks away. From Linda's perspective though, coughing up blood and having worms inside her definitely didn't seem like a good sign. Later that night, we see Ariel talking with his senior officer, opening up about everything that's been going on. At this point, Ariel suspects that Aika might have cheated on him. His senior advises him to have a direct conversation with his wife and even suggests that Ariel spend the entire next day with her. He offers to cover Ariel's shift himself. Ariel agrees to it. But while he's on his way home, he suddenly hears a baby crying from inside a parked car. When he goes over to check it out, he's shocked to see a demonic-looking baby inside. Terrified, he runs away from the scene. But as viewers, we then see the demon holding the baby in its arms, a clear sign that the child growing inside Aika might actually belong to that demon. Later, when Ariel gets home, his growing suspicion leads him to check Aika's phone. At the time, Aika had been talking to an old classmate named Denny who was also dealing with problems in his own marriage. This made Ariel suspicious. He started thinking that maybe the baby Aika was carrying wasn't his, but Denny's. When he brought it up, Aika lashed out at him and insisted they go to the doctor the very next day. She was ready to prove through a DNA test that the baby was indeed Ariel's. But here's where things take a strange turn. Deep down, Aika herself was confused. She knew she hadn't been intimate with Ariel in the past 6 months. In fact, they had only just been together a few days ago, so how could she possibly be 3 months pregnant? The next day, when they visit the doctor, they get hit with a shocking revelation. There's no embryo or fetus at all. It turns out Aika isn't actually pregnant. It's all a result of psychological trauma brought on by her intense desire to become a mother. This condition starts showing all the physical signs of pregnancy, like missed periods and a growing belly, but in reality, there's no baby inside. That immediately reminded me of the show From. For those who've seen From season 2, there was a similar situation with a woman named Fatima. She was told she could never get pregnant but somehow ended up carrying a demonic child, the Smiley Man. She showed all the same symptoms but nothing showed up on the ultrasound. In the end, we learned she actually gave birth to the demon himself, the Smiley Man. Back to this story. After hearing all of this, Aika is left feeling heartbroken, while Ariel is just completely shocked. Anyway, when Aika tells Linda about everything, Linda gets worried too and decides to take her to a spiritual healer named Ustad Yani. The vomiting with bugs and blood, plus Aika's strange pregnancy symptoms, didn't sit right with Linda. Something supernatural was definitely going on. As soon as Ustad Yani sees Aika, he also sees the same demon standing behind her in human form. That's when he understood the whole situation. But for now, he acts normal, invites Aika inside, and starts talking with her. After hearing everything, Jenny tried to explain to Aika that she wasn't really pregnant. She said there are some things, supernatural entities, that come into couples' dreams and have physical contact with the women, causing fights and cracks in their relationships. But Aika got really angry because, to her, the baby was real. She felt it in her body, the signs were there that the baby was growing in her belly. After saying all this, Aika stormed out in anger. Linda came over to her house later that day and tried to comfort her by talking things through and easing her mind a bit. Later, when Linda is heading back home, she spots a kitten right outside her house, a tiny baby cat. Since anyone could accidentally run over it with a car or bike on the road, Linda picks up the kitten and moves it safely to the side. But when she returns to her scooter, she feels like the kitten is following her, though in reality, it's not. Then, when Linda goes back to check on the kitten behind a box, she finds a jinn sitting there, the demon. And we know that many jinn can change their shape. Anyway, he attacks Linda and kills her, and Aika had seen all of this in her dream as well. Terrified, she wakes up and runs outside to the exact spot where Linda was killed. A crowd had gathered there, and Linda's bloodied body was lying on the ground. The people had done this because she had been interfering with them and had taken someone to their master, which led to this tragedy. Seeing all this, Aika breaks down and starts crying uncontrollably. Just then, Ariel also. Aika was blaming herself for Linda's death and was desperate to get away from the demon at any cost. So, she went to see Ustad Yani along with Ariel and her younger sister, Emma. There, Yani performed a small exorcism on Aika to remove the demon that had possessed her. This demon, or jinn, considered Aika its wife, meaning they believed Aika shouldn't be bothered by others. But Ustad Yani didn't listen to the demon and, after some chanting, managed to temporarily drive it out of Aika. During the chanting, the demonic child growing inside Aika's womb also seemed to be in pain. However, once the ritual ended, Aika returned to normal. From their conversation, we learn that Aika was actually possessed by a jinn named Dasim. This jinn took advantage of the distance between Aika and Ariel to take control of her. It even appeared in her dreams and married her in another realm, which is why it was intimate with her. Basically, it exploited the growing gap between the couple. Jinn Dasim is known for showing up in the lives of married couples to destroy their relationships. To protect Aika from its influence, Jenny advises her to perform Ruqya, an Islamic healing practice. Ruqya involves regularly reciting specific verses from the Quran tailored to different situations as a way to ward off evil spirits and possession. Now, Ustad Yani gives Aika a Quran verse written on a piece of paper, which she has to read every day. After returning home, Ariel and Aika apologize to each other for their past mistakes and decide to start fresh to fix things. Everything starts going really well, they're happy together and spending more quality time with each other. 14 days pass like this, and during that time, Aika doesn't have that dream even once, which means the connection with the jinn had been broken. One day, while they were eating out, Ariel tells Aika that his company is transferring him to another branch. He could have said no, but the move meant a higher salary and a bunch of new opportunities. Normally, Ariel would have refused because of Aika's condition, but since she was feeling better and hadn't had any bad dreams lately, she encouraged him to go to the city. Ariel agreed, and they planned to keep in touch every day through video calls. But the very next day, right after Ariel left the house, Aika started feeling uneasy, she felt completely alone. So, she calls Emma and asks her to come over, but Emma had to cover someone else's shift that day and couldn't make it. Meanwhile, Aika first rereads the words given to her by Ustad Jenny, but then starts feeling a little uneasy. Eventually, she falls asleep on the couch while watching TV, which probably means the spirit was trying to get close to her since her husband wasn't home. The next day, when Aika goes to work, she suddenly finds everyone around her acting like they're possessed. They won't let her get away and keep repeating, "You belong to me." Aika gets really scared. She was deeply troubled that night at home with Emma. In fact, she kept blaming herself, wondering what she did wrong to deserve all this, and how that man ended up coming to her. Then Emma tries to comfort her. After Ariel comes back, they were planning to visit Ustad Jenny again, when Ariel calls. They're still on the way but would be home in a few hours. While talking to Emma, Ariel warns her not to let Aika sleep alone at night under any circumstances. He explains that last time a similar situation happened, Linda's presence near Aika led to Linda's death, which meant Emma's life was in danger. Emma agrees to be careful. Later that night, Emma keeps talking to Aika, and through their conversation, we learn that Emma has given Desta another chance because honestly, there's no better life partner for her than Desta. But as Emma talks, Aika suddenly falls asleep without warning. When Emma tries to wake her up, a demonic hand suddenly throws Emma off the bed, like it doesn't want anyone disturbing Aika. Then, an invisible force drags Emma out of the room. Then the demon came back and slept with Aika again. When she woke up in the middle of the night, she found out she was pregnant. Now don't start wondering how she got pregnant so fast. You see, for Jinn, time works completely differently. Maybe only a few hours passed here, but in their world, it could have been months, or vice versa. Basically, these jinn can manipulate time. Shocked to find herself pregnant, Aika starts punching her own stomach hard, which caused her to bleed heavily. Aika, barely keeping it together, leaves the room and finds Emma unconscious nearby. She doesn't pay much attention to Emma at first. Instead, she grabs a hanger, straightens it out like a pin, and starts stabbing her own private area repeatedly, trying to get rid of the demonic baby. But nothing seems to work. After a while, Ariel comes home. When he sees Aika in this state, he quickly tries to help her and calls out to Emma, who has just regained consciousness. The three of them went straight to Ustad Zaini's place. There, Ustad Zaini laid Aika down on a bed and tied her hands and feet. Along with several of his companions, he began performing prayers to exorcise the Dasim jinn from inside her. Meanwhile, Aika was still trapped in that same dream, fully inside the possession, where she always saw herself. She tried to break free, but then the Dasim appeared. When Aika tried to run away from it, the Dasim violently attacked her hand, leaving marks that showed up on her body in real life as well. Dasim had grabbed Aika tightly, and in the real world, Aika was possessed, screaming in a creepy, terrifying way. This really shows us what possession is all about, a person's soul being taken to another world by demons. But even seeing her like this, Ustad Zaini kept praying with his followers without stopping. Suddenly, Aika's bed started levitating in the air. Still, Ustad Zaini didn't stop his prayers. This really upset Dasim, and he stepped forward to scare Zaini and the others directly. But Ustad Zaini remained steadfast and didn't back down. At that moment, Ariel quickly goes to Aika and whispers in her ear that she absolutely must get out of the demon's house. He tells her that he needs her in his life and that he never wants to lose her. Ariel wants to start over with her, from zero, but for that to happen, Aika has to leave. Now, Aika starts hearing all these voices. She begins crying, first remembering their wedding day, and then reciting verses from the Quran that Ustad Zaini had written down for her. This causes the demon, Dasim, a lot of trouble. Even the building Dasim had created starts to crumble. As the gates fall apart, Aika runs away, her spirit finally returning to her body. When she wakes up, everything seems completely normal. Emma and Ariel hug her, and we notice a mark on her hand near her shoulder, the result of an attack by Dasim. Anyway, toward the end of the story, we see a quote that says whenever evil thoughts come into your mind, whether because of the devil or anything leading you toward darkness, you should remember a higher power. Someone who's always watching and knows everything. That higher power can help you in those moments. Then, the story gives us a post-credits scene set 6 years later. Aika and Ariel used to have a very happy family. They had 2 kids and had even bought another house somewhere else. They were happily enjoying their time together. One day, Aika asks Emma about their older son, Arka, who had wandered off playing near the main gate. Right there, in front of him, was the same man Aika saw in her dreams, the demon known as Jinn Dasim. Emma goes outside to get Arka and starts bringing him back inside, warning him to stay away from strangers. But from Arka's perspective, the man didn't seem threatening at all. In fact, Jean was trying to make contact with him. But Emma isn't convinced, and she takes Arka inside the house with her. This suggests that these 2 kids might somehow be connected to that same Jinn Dasim. Or maybe, you could say that Arka carries some part of the Jinn within him. We know that Aika was possessed by Jinn Dasim for a long time, so it's possible some part of it remained inside her. And maybe Arka inherited some Jinn-like powers, which is why he could see it. The biggest thing is, this story is